All right, number 3, determine whether or not the function is 1-to-1, and we've been given f of x equals x squared plus 7. So no longer are we being provided the graph of this function, so not quite as easy as questions 1 and 2, but nothing we can't handle. We've got to do a little bit more work here at number 3 to determine if this function is 1-to-1 or not. What we're going to do is use this concept here from your book, page 384, that says a function f is a 1-to-1 function if, for elements a and b in the domain of f, a does not equal b implies f of a does not equal f of b. Now, this can be a little more difficult to understand, so your book also goes into the idea and tells us that we can use the concept of contrapositive to really rephrase what this is saying here to get instead that f of a equals f of b implies that a equals b. Well, again, what does that mean? Well, all this is telling us is that we're going to take our function, our given function, we're going to evaluate a, meaning take a, plug it in, see what we get. We're then going to take our function, plug in b, see what we get, set those two things equal to each other. We're going to clean it up, and if at the very end we're able to get a equals b, then this thing is a 1-to-1 function. If, however, when we set f of a equal to f of b, clean it up, if we're not able to get a equals b, then this function is not 1-to-1. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's first find what f of a is. So again, all this is saying is take a, plug it in, and see what we get. So a squared plus 7. That's all we get. That is f of a. Let's also find what f of b is. Well, again, that tells us we're going to take b. Anywhere we see an x in the original function, replace the x for b. So that gives us b squared plus 7. So we have f of a, we have f of b. We're going to set those two things equal to each other. So a squared plus 7 equals b squared plus 7. Let's now clean this up a little, see if we can get this thing to have at the end a equals b. If we can, then this is 1-to-1. If it's not, or rather, if we can't get a equals b, then this is not 1-to-1. All right, so we can go ahead and subtract 7 from both sides, and that will leave us with a squared equals b squared. All right, let's get a by itself. So if we take the square root on the left-hand side, we have to take the square root on the right-hand side. But remember, when you create your own square root, you have to do plus and minus. So here on the left, we have a, and on the right, well, when we take the square root of b, we get simply b, but because that plus and minus, we end up with a equals plus and minus b. That is not what we're looking for. We're only looking for a equals b, but because of that square root here on the right-hand side, giving us a plus and minus, we know that we don't get a equals b, and so therefore this is not a 1-to-1 function.